Today, I'm going to talk about one of the very unhealthy ways of communication: passive aggression. Passive aggression does not help you in nurturing relationships, whether in your personal life or in professional life. Passive aggression does not help with any movement in your career. If any, it will only bring you backwards. Passive aggression is basically a farce for hiding your true feelings. And those who are passive aggressive in their communication, they basically feel that the person on the receiving end does not really know that they are being passive aggressive, but I just want to break the news for you. People get it, and it's not a great feeling. And listen, we have all been passive aggressive, at in our communication at some point or the other, because guess what, we are human beings and we have feelings, and we are gonna mess up in how we communicate with others. So if you feel that you're passive aggressive, there's hope for you. We have all done that, but there's always a way to improve our communication, especially if you are interested in getting to that next level, being that leader who wants to get people on that same page so that you can achieve the vision that you have for yourself and for the company that you're working for or for your business. Because in today's world, you cannot succeed alone. In fact, nobody has succeeded alone. There has always been support from someone or the other. So, if we are going to deal with people, let's communicate in a manner where it is helpful for both the parties and you are achieving the goals that you have set for yourself. For those who do not know me, I'm Dr. Mrinalini Garg. I am a career advancement coach and an executive coach. I work with South Asian men and women who are very ambitious, who want to get to that next level in their leadership roles, or who are already at a higher level and want to have a solid executive presence so that they have the visibility and don't feel exploited for doing all the hard work and not getting the credit, so that you can move up and expand and grow in your career and make the impact that you want to make. So let's talk about passive aggression. Let's break it down. Really, we can dive into the scientific definition of it, but I don't want to do that. Let's keep it really simple. What is passive aggression? It's aggression which you are basically sugarcoating. You are pretending, you're or trying to pretend that you're not aggressive, and you're using a language to kind of soften it. But guess what? The listener knows that you're being passive aggressive. We feel that, oh, I did a great job, I was being smart or clever in how I responded. But honestly, it's very icky. The person who is on the receiving side of passive aggression, it's very icky, and they see through you, and nobody wants to hang out with you if you're passive aggressive. And like I said, we are human beings and we have all been passive aggressive in some situations in our life. So it's not that if you have been passive aggressive, there is no hope for you. But it's important to understand that, passive aggression is a thing. And if you feel that nobody can sense it, well, everybody senses it. So, how does it start? Well, passive aggression start because we feel disempowered, and we have felt disempowered for a long time, especially in our growing years. We were probably shut down. We were probably criticized for voicing our opinion. We were told that that's not a great idea, or shut up, don't open your mouth, especially in front of the elders. And this happens to both boys and girls. This is not just a girl thing, but yes, it happens more to girls, as they're growing up, where they're asked, oh, don't argue with that uncle, or don't argue with your father or brother, and they're basically just shut down. But it happens to boys also, and I feel like everybody feels that life for men is easy. I don't think it is. In many aspects it is, but in a lot of aspects it is not. And this is the reason we need to really be honest about how we were brought up, what experiences made us who we are as adults, because the more we dive into that, the more we understand ourselves, and then we can start figuring out how we can change and become our highest version, so that we are communicating in a manner where we are building each other up versus bringing others down. So an example of passive aggression would be, let's say the boss tells you, puts a last minute task on you. Hey, here's another project I want to tell you. I know you're very busy, but this needs to be done. Now, when you hear that, you're about to leave work and about to shut your computer, and right then, this request is made, and that it's going to take at least a couple of hours. Now that you are angry, you are feeling resentment, but you don't express that. What do you do instead? You just say, it's fine, I'll just do it, right? So superficially it seems, you are being a team player, and you are basically telling that, I am the kind of person who always says yes, and we can't do this now, okay? And that's my son. 6 years old. What can you do, right? But we can't do that, right? I have to talk now. Oh, you tied a knot. Very good. Good job. I'm very proud of you. Okay. So, where was I? Right. It's fine. I'll do it. Right. So superficially, it seems like, you are fine with it, but you are not, right? And if the boss is busy, thinking about all the things that needs to be done, they're not gonna sense that you're being passive aggressive. But that you are being passive aggressive, because inside, you're thinking about, you had just made plans, to go out with somebody, or you have to go home, pick up, or on the way pick up your children, or something else that you have planned. Could just be like, I want to just go home and do nothing. It could be anything of that sort, but you just said, it's fine, I'll do it. One thing we all have to know is that, and I learned it the hard way, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to. We can always draw boundaries, we can always say no. So we don't have to, right? We can feel that, someone's imposing something on me, uh, but we always have, a way to draw boundaries and say no. I'm talking about the communication aspect. So how do you actually be assertive instead of being passive aggressive? So what happens in this passive aggressive communication is you are hurting yourself, because in your mind you have this resentment, you don't want to do it, but you're pretending to be nice, you're pretending to be a team player, so you want to be in your boss's good books, and you want to show that, you are someone who is always, ready to take on whatever is asked of you to be done. But those 2 hours that you would be working, at the back of the mind, you're processing that. You're angry, you're resentful, you're thinking about the things that you're missing out on because you said yes to this particular task. You will make more mistakes, right? You will, because you're cognitively, you are, you know, you're all over the place, but you still get it done. And then after you get it done, then you are telling yourself, well, I said yes to this. My boss better, give me credit for this. My boss better recognize me. My boss better remember this particular incident. And when it comes to annual evaluation, they better promote me. And it doesn't happen. and that leads to more resentment. And instead of really understanding what is going on, you start telling stories. Oh, my boss does not appreciate me. My boss undervalues me. No matter what I do, I don't get the recognition. So, this one time where you just said, I'll take on extra work, it carries with you throughout the year. And then if these things happen more frequently, it's gonna go not just for the whole year, but it will continue. And then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because that is the pattern you have. You're being passive aggressive, you take on more, you're afraid to say no, you're afraid to assert, and it affects you really badly. Your self-esteem goes down. Your brain is constantly processing, what is wrong with me? Why don't people really respect me? Why don't people see all the things that I do? And this happens at home also, right? You don't say no to your in-laws, you don't say no to your parents, and you tell yourself, oh, it's my job to support my parents. But honestly, human beings, we there's only so much we can do. We are not superheroes. So it's okay to admit, I can't do this, or I'm exhausted right now, or could you take care of it yourself? It's okay to say that, but we don't. So we take on more, men and women both. Yeah, fine, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do the laundry also, I'll do the cleaning also, I'll do, cook also, I'll take care of, old parents also, I'll do everything, I'll take care of my children, I'll do their, help them with their homework, and it's endless. And it really takes you nowhere. So, knowing that it takes us nowhere, what is a healthier way of communicating? A healthier way of communicating is being assertive, assertive communication. And also, a lot of people feel that being assertive is being aggressive or being confrontational. And it's not. Being assertive is just saying what is going on in your mind. And of course, you're not, drying your dirty laundry, in front of everyone. So we want to manage our emotions and share things matter of factly. So there are steps in how you can be assertive. So in this particular situation, right, when the boss dumps something on you, you have the freedom to say that, boss, thank you for, thinking of me, and thank you for trusting me for completing this. I do have some thoughts about that, right? So, first of all, when the boss tells you something, you're going to have emotions, right? So, the first step is pause and acknowledge your feelings. So, whatever it's coming up for you, oh, but I have other plans. Oh, there's no way I can do this. Oh, I think it's just too much. Or, it's unfair that the boss is asking me to do this. So, we want to acknowledge everything that is coming up for us. And honestly, this does not take 10 hours. You can feel this in like 5-10 seconds if you are in touch with your feelings. And this is the most important thing, which allows us to respond to a situation versus react to a situation. React is, the lower brain, just like a reptile, right? With a snake, if somebody steps on its tail, it's just gonna turn around and bite, right? It's not going to make that calculation. Maybe this person must have stepped on my tail in error. Maybe I should give them the benefit of doubt, right? They don't do that because they don't have the frontal cortex, right? But we do. We do as human beings. We have the frontal cortex. So that gives us the ability to really look at the situation by pausing and then respond. But for a lot of us growing up, we were not allowed to use our frontal cortex because we were told, oh, no, shut up. So an idea comes up and we want to share, or we want to uh, present an opposing idea. No, You can't argue with the uncle. Do as I tell you. So even though we have our frontal cortex, we haven't been given many opportunities to actually use it so that we can assess and analyze what is going on and then respond with all the information that we have. So now that we know that we have this frontal cortex and we haven't used it, it's just a matter of practice to gauge the situation before reacting. So pause and acknowledge your feelings, right? And then the next step is share how you actually feel and share it as matter of factly. We don't go and say, oh, boss, you always do that. Just because I say yes, you keep dumping work on me, and that is so unfair. That's also a way to communicate. And it's not passive aggressive, it's actually very direct, but it's not going to help you, right? So, how would you address that? You can say that, boss, thank you for trusting me with this assignment. Um, I do have some concerns. I looked at this task and it's going to take at least 2 hours, and I really can't work on it right now. I have other plans and I would love to help you out. Is there any way I can come back here and do it the first thing in the morning? And there will be times when the boss says that, yes, you can do that. And there will be times when, it is something urgent, which I would question because, why would a boss think about something at 5 o'clock in the evening and give it to you versus really planning well and giving you advance notice to work on it. So, there's something that needs to happen on the boss's part also. But the most important thing is you cannot control your boss, you can only control yourself. So, unless and until you speak up and unless and until you say that this is a challenge, your boss is going to feel like you're fine. You have no plans. You can just do it. So, you're training your boss to dump things on you. And that's why you go unnoticed. Because if you say yes, 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 you actually go unnoticed. But if you draw boundaries and say no respectfully, then people start looking at you differently. They start valuing your time because you are valuing your time. You are asserting that I cannot just sit here in the evening and keep doing this because guess what? I have life, I have other things. You can also say that, boss, I'm just about to leave. It's 5 o'clock, and I just feel it's a little unfair that I'll have to stay for another 2 hours. And, I do have other plans. Or you can say that, I will do this, the very first thing in the morning. However, I have, these five other things you have asked me to work on. So, what are some things that you can take off of my plate so that I can focus on this and give it to you? Or you can ask, does it have to be right now? Can this wait till tomorrow? Because I have plans. So I gave you various ways of addressing that. So, but unless and until you share what is going on, your boss wouldn't know. And this is the reason when you say yes resentfully, or, like you're pretending you're not resentful, but you're saying yes, the boss just says you have no problem about doing that. And months go by and they forget that you did it. But if you say no and say that this is going to take 2 hours of my time, it's 5 o'clock, this would mean I will have to stay at 7 o'clock. I would love to work on it, but I can't. I can work on it the next day morning. When you have this kind of a conversation, your boss is going to remember that because you're drawing boundaries, you're respecting yourself. And they might, you basically want to challenge, like, why at 5 o'clock, right, when it's time for me to leave? So it's very counterintuitive. We keep scaring ourselves by telling ourselves, if I say no, my boss will think that, John is better than me, right? So there's a, I mean, I can go on and on about this, but I also want you to understand there's more to life than just your job, than just your career. So you want to start thinking about, what you value, how you really want to go about your life, which means that you need to have goals for yourself. Because once you have goals, once you have a direction, you say yes to only those things that help you get there. And you say no to things that are going to deviate you from your career path. So if you say yes to this because you want to please your boss, you are deviating from your goal. If that task is in no way going to help you with your career, it's just a waste of time. So you would want to also want to ask, if I do this, can I present this at that meeting? Can I be at that meeting? You want to figure out, if you do agree to that, you realize that this is a strategic project and I do want to work on it, figure out how you can make it memorable for your boss. That I spent 2 hours on this and I'm going to present it, and you get the visibility. So there are ways to go about it, but there's no reason for you to just say, it's fine, I'll work on it. The third thing is provide alternative solutions. So like I said, can I work on this, tomorrow morning? Or you can also say that, given, you know, where I am right now, do you think this is the best use of, my expertise? Can this be given to somebody else? Can it be done at a different time? What else can you remove from my plate so I can focus on this? And then set up the right expectations and say that, boss, I can help you this time, but next time give me enough notice. Or have this conversation, is this project, really going to help me with my career growth? If not, is this a good use of my time? Can this be delegated? And then the last one is the most important one. Object the very first time. If you have a problem, object the very first time. Don't say yes if it's not sitting with you, if it's not aligning with you. Now, there are a lot of people who just say that, well, this is a race, right? If you say no, somebody else is going to do it. So be it. The key is that you are clear on where you want to go. And I give this example many times, right? Companies are using Slack, and a lot of people, they feel that the faster I get to that answer, the more visible I will be. Sure, if that's your goal, right? Instead of 10 seconds, I'm going to reply in 5 seconds. If that's your goal, that's fine. Let them do that. But the more important thing is that you have these conversations. Be assertive, show your leadership. That is working smarter than getting stressed out and getting your cortisol levels increasing because you see that, oh, John is replying faster, Santosh is, is fast at getting the answer. Your bosses don't have the time to sit and time who is replying faster. They have better things to do. But the most important thing is in the background. These are the conversations you're having. You're talking with the boss, you're asking the right questions. Why right now? Is this a priority? Why is this a priority right now? Can this wait? Can somebody else work on it? If I work on it, can I get other things off of my plate? And the alternative also is you can say yes, but then don't be resentful. If you're saying yes, then don't be resentful. Do it with joy. But if you are resentful, you don't want to do it, and you're saying yes, then you're basically lying. You're being inauthentic. And that does not feel good to you. That does not feel good to the person at the other end, the receiving end. So it is healthier in all ways when you assert instead of being passive aggressive. And know that you became passive aggressive because of all the experiences that you have had where you have, your voice was not heard for a long time. We have not been nurtured, or our frontal cortex, it was suppressed. So we have become very reactive. So it's important to, really go through this process. So pause and acknowledge your feelings, share them in a matter of factly manner, provide alternative solutions instead of just saying yes right away and then being resentful. uh, Set up the right expectations for next time. And if you have objections, object it the very first time, so that you are setting the tone for the rest of the time you will be in that company. Until next time.